Well, welcome back to my channel and to today's video, Super Friends, where we will take a look, a peekaroo, if you will, at the MAFEX Knightfall Batman action figure, or Asbats, as he is so lovingly called by those of us who are fans of this classic Batman tale. Jean-Paul Valley as Azrael Batman is one of the most iconic beacons of 1990s DC Comics. So the packaging for this guy is red. It's got a bat symbol. See, there it is, says Batman over top in yellow letters. And you can see good old Asbats right there, stuck in stasis behind the plastic. The side has another fantastic looking image of Azrael, and the other side, if you turn it over on its side, you can see has more imagery. We can see that, oh look, he comes with a cloth goods cape and an extra head, as well as a grapple that can pop out of his bat gauntlet. All very good and exciting, especially when you have him out of the package as we do here. The figure, the head, the grapple, the 3 extra hands, and 2 flying out of the gauntlet Batarang attachments. The secondary head looks absolutely fantastic up close. And on the body, this head looks every bit like it should do from the comic books. The figure itself, well, I mean, what can we say? This is probably one of MAFEX's best DC offerings, my opinion. I realize that I say that about almost all of their DC offerings lately, but that's because they're just doing such a great job. This is an excellent representation of what Azrael's Batman suit slash armor looked like during this part of the story. These bat gauntlets, they look so great. They've just done such a fantastic job capturing those details. Heck, even the inside of the gauntlets and underneath the chest portion of the armor is accurately painted red. You have the yellow body armor right here, or gold, depending on who's drawing and, you know, what your interpretation of yellow is in the comics. Sometimes it's yellow and sometimes it's gold. You have this really nice gold paint over his abdomen going down into the V here with both the armor and that silver paint continuing around the back. And then you have his utility belt with all of these pouches. Now, I will tell you that these pouches right here they're not stationary. Like, they can definitely move. They're only attached at the back. And that's to, you know, I think so that the pouches don't get in the way of his articulation. I think that that's the point. I haven't decided whether I'm going to fasten them there for good or what. I'm not at that point yet. You got all those pouches that go all the way around his leg because this is an uber prepared Batman. And you got those fantastic spikes that stick out the edges of his legs. Actually, I've always thought that those would be a pain in the butt in real life. And I've always thought that this whole look right here was a really compelling look. I mean, I'm glad that this here did not become our permanent Batman look, but this is fantastic. You have the points here that match the points on top of his head. Very symmetrical. You have the light right here underneath the neckline for blinding and startling his adversaries. You have that silver neck armor, and this face sculpt is really, really well done. MAFEX, as I say all the time, as far as the details go, they're the company that I feel is doing the very best job representing comic book accurate versions of the characters that we love as DC fans. So obviously for me, the next question is going to be, how articulated is this Batman? The head and the neck both have articulation points, and they're both ball jointed. So that's what you're going to get for the neck, and then the head. Let's try to... There, I'm trying to articulate the head without articulating the neck. So you've got good articulation. You only get so far back because you've got this here solid piece that prevents some of that movement. You've got a shoulder butterfly on both arms, full 360 bicep swivels, double jointed elbows that, well, that's what they do. Big gauntlets get in the way, so they do, if I hold the arm up all the way, they do a bit more than 90. Both wrists have that rounded hinge, and these big gauntlets, they are going to get in the way. You can't have the big gauntlets and not have them get in the way. I would rather it look accurate. And of course we have those rounded hinges in the armpits, and the arms are attached by those ball joints. Now remember, he's got big armor, so you're only going to get about this much up T motion from him, but the reality is, with this armor, that's probably all you would get anyway. Which is what makes it impractical from a real-life point of view, but so much fun from a comic book point of view. The torso has a great range of motion. Down, not quite so much, but everywhere else, plenty of articulative property. And then you've also got the waist here, and that's 360 as well. And you put these together, and there is a lot of range of motion. I don't want to push them too much because I know what happens to ball joints over time. They get loose, and I don't like the dreaded loose ball joints. Then we've got down here, we got ball joints in the groin, just like that. And they're drop hinges. I know some people don't care for drop hinges and some people like them. As long as they're tight, I am a fan of the drop hinges because they do give you that much more articulation. And these are pretty articulated, especially, I mean, I can move his leg way over here too. It's that articulated. He's got double jointed knees. And I will tell you throughout the course of me reviewing this figure that I have noticed that although they're very well articulated, they can be a little loose. And as I say it, he doesn't do it, making me out to be a liar. I've been fiddling with him a few times and he's gone whoop, and he's just fallen down. So because there's no ratchets, you're relying on these to stay tight by themselves, and we all know that that probably won't be the case. He's very top heavy. Then we have the ankles, rounded hinge, and that's what we get for foot articulation. It's obviously on a pivot, and toe articulation. I also love the fact that this Batman has a nice cloth goods cape. It's pretty long, comes down pretty much to his feet, and it's also pretty wide. It's a pretty large cloth goods cape. The wires for this Batman's cape are in the side. So you have the one right on the seam, then you have one not far below it, and then nothing down the middle here. And I know that a lot of us like a wire in the middle of the cape, and that's missing. And we have another one here and another one here. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, this is enough wire to get him into some pretty reasonable cape poses. So even though I think 5 wires would have been better, I think that 4 is certainly enough. Alright, so now what do I think about this MAFEX Knightfall as Bats action figure? Is it good? Or is it garbage? Well, I am super stoked about this figure. I really do like this figure a lot. They got the colors perfect. The look is absolutely spot on. I have literally nothing bad to say about this figure. The only slight critique I can make is that I really hope that the knees don't get super loose. But everything else, maybe I'm just awestruck, starstruck, Asbat-struck, but I think this is pretty much a perfect representation of the character when he wore this specific suit. I love it. 10 out of 10, would buy again. But anyway, those are my thoughts, observations, and opinions. Hopefully you found this video to be an interesting, insightful, useful waste of time. If you did, that means a lot to me. Hopefully you come back and watch another video some other time. And I will see you with the next one. Have yourself a DC day, everybody, and take care.